Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my Harlequin anticipated reads for April of 2023. Finally, I have been promising this video for weeks and weeks now, but March has been a weird month. I mean, I've been a little bit sporadic in March with my videos and I do apologize for that. I'm going to try my best in April to try and get back on some sort of a schedule. I mean, it's not like you guys aren't holding me to it, which is great, but for me, I prefer to have it on a schedule. That way I kind of know what's going on. Like, for example, I thought to myself earlier this week, I'm like, all right, I'll film the Harlequin Anticipated Reads video on Wednesday. It can go up on Thursday. Life is grand. Then I'm like, wait, I was going to have it come out on Wednesday. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm here to talk about Harlequin books coming out in April now. So for those of you who are not familiar with my videos, if you're new here, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch my silly videos here. And so the Harlequin Anticipated Reads videos. Every month I go through all the new release Harlequins and I look at each line or imprint individually. So like Desire, Heartwarming, Medical, Historical, like I look at each one individually and I look at all the new books that are coming out that month. And then I pick the one that appeals to me the most, the one that I am the most excited about, and I add it to this list. So these are the ones that I am anticipating. And then what I do is during the month, like so for example for April, I have these all on a list, and as the month goes on I will pick one and just continuously have one of these that I'm reading. I would love to get through all 12 of them in a month. That's not going to happen. Let's be realistic. For example, for the month of March, I have read 15 books so far. So if I read the 12 of these, I wouldn't be reading much else. Let's be realistic. But hey, it'd be great to be able to get through them, right guys? It's the goal. It's the goal. So anyway, aim high, my friends, aim high. So let's go ahead and jump into the books. So we're going to start with the Desire line, and I'm going to say this every month. This is it, you guys. This is the last year for Desire, and it makes me so sad because this series, this imprint is so loved. It's been around since like 82. Like 40 years. And that it's going to be gone. And I'm sad about it. I know a lot of other people are sad about it, but let's enjoy it while we still have it. So the book that I picked for this one has the most gorgeous cover, is Making a Marriage Deal by Sophia Singh Sasson. So this is, it says, and sorry for the light coming in and out, ambitious Dr. Herma already has the love of her life, her job. But without a husband, she'll never get the chance at the career of her dreams. So she allows her parents to arrange a marriage to a gorgeous, successful stranger. But Vivek knows that while he can be the perfect husband on paper, nothing could ever convince him to love again. Now they're stuck together on a luxurious Caribbean cruise, surrounded by beauty and trying to resist a searing attraction that threatens their platonic arrangement. Guys, is that... Okay, so arranged marriage for one, and then like forced proximity, yes please, and that cover is so stunning. So I am really, really excited about this one. I cannot wait to read it. Just as a side note, I forgot to mention at the beginning, this is North American based, so I am going off the names of the North American lines. So if you are in the UK or Australia, your mileage may vary. Look to see if these books are available with these titles by these authors. It might be under a different imprint. So this is what I know because this is what I would buy here in North America. So the next one is by Patricia Johns, and this is a heartwarming book. And I kind of picked this one a little bit specifically. It was a toss-up between this and another one, but April, of course, is Amish in April. Elizabeth and I over at Lizzie Faye Loves Books are co-hosting it. I'll leave a link to my announcement video in the description box below. So this one is Her Amish Country Valentine, again by Patricia Johns. This is the first book in the Butternut Amish B&B series. Tired of being seen as a lonely workaholic, advertising exec Jill promises to bring her casual boyfriend, it says in quotation marks, to her sister's Valentine wedding. Too bad he doesn't exist. Then Tom Miller, a carpenter working at her aunt's Amish B&B, offers to be Jill's fake boyfriend if they turn the lie into truth. But dating Tom in idyllic Amish country makes Jill wish their temporary arrangement could last. Sounds so cute. And this one is Amish adjacent, as I like to call it, because I'm going to coin that phrase now, like trademark it, Amish adjacent, because our main characters are not Amish, but it takes place in Amish country with other Amish characters. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. Patricia Johns wrote another Amish adjacent book last year that I read. What was it called? Amish. I can see the cover. It's a gentleman holding a little Amish girl. Like he's like a cop, and she's I'll flash the cover up right here for you guys. It was really cute. I read it last year and I really liked it. Next up, we have the historical line. A Manhattan Heiress in Paris by Amanda McCabe. This says, step into the roaring 1920s music scene. New York darling Elizabeth Van Hooven has everything except freedom. But now Eliza's traveling to study piano at the Paris Conservatory and falling for jazz prodigy Jack Coleman in the process. A love like theirs is forbidden back home, and as they make beautiful music together under the Parisian lights, Eliza and Jack face a difficult choice. The life they've always known, or the possibility of a life they could have never imagined. Okay, 1920s, that's a buzzword for me. I love any book set in the Roaring 20s, although I haven't read The Great Gatsby, but I like these books. Paris, yes please, and the fact that it is a interracial relationship in the 1920s, yes please. Like, this one looks so good. So yeah, I cannot wait to read this one. Next up, an intrigue novel. You guys know I love the intrigue books. We have Catching the Carling Lake Killer by the great Katie Richards. West Investigations book number 6. I have been, reading this one will catch me up to this series. I love this series so much. I cannot recommend it enough. So it says, whoops, sorry, I just lost my spot. She's kept her secret for years, but now a killer knows. Journalist Simone Jarrett and Carling Lake Sheriff Lance Webb have kept their affair casual to avoid gossip. But as his feelings for Simone deepen, Lance is troubled by the knowledge that she's hiding something. Then, after 20 years, the card killer strikes again, and Simone's secret puts her in the killer's sights. Now the two must team up to find the murderer and save Simone's life. So you don't have to have read the books before to read this one, but you do meet Lance, I think, in the previous 2 books, I think. But again, you don't have to have read them. You can read these as standalone, and they're fantastic. So I absolutely recommend these books. Next, we have a medical romance by the lovely Juliette Hyland. I adore her work. I adore her. Again, her and Katie Richards are 2 people that I have been fortunate enough to interview back when I did the Categorically Romance podcast with Brie. So for this month, I have picked her book because it has to do with animals. And we have Redeeming Her Hotshot Vet by, again, Juliette Hyland. So I love, and I've mentioned this before, that the medical line is now kind of like bringing veterinarians into the medical. So animal medicine, which I think is great. When Holt escaped Spring River, he never thought he'd return. With a chance to right the wrongs of his youth, he's back to save the town's veterinarian clinic. The renowned vet just didn't realize it meant working with Sage, the woman he left behind. Their attraction certainly hasn't faded, but Sage isn't the dreamer he once knew, and he's determined to make amends. Can Holt mend what's been broken and spark a new life together? And there's a dog on the cover. How can you say no to that? Looks delightful. Next, we have one of the Presents novels. And this is Engaged to London's Wildest Billionaire by Callie Anthony. This is book number 2 in the Behind the Palace Doors series. I have not read book number 1, but this one sounds great, and you guys know me. I will just go ahead and read it. Series order, throw that out the window. Lance's debauched reputation is the stuff of tabloid legend. He's dedicated to rebelling against his strict aristocratic, it's been a long day, upbringing, and has never once shielded away from trouble until he meets Sarah Conrad. Entertaining thoughts of his attraction to sheltered Sarah would be far too reckless, even for him. Then Sarah makes him an impassioned plea to help her escape an arranged wedding, just like the one Lance failed to save his sister from. The Playboy's outlandish solution? Their own headline-making engagement. Yay! And again, takes place in London. Love it, love it, love it. Looks really good. Can't wait. Speaking of weddings and running off to potentially get married, The romance book that I have picked is It Started with a Vegas Wedding by Jessica Gilmore. When a near accident in Vegas lands sensible Willow in the arms of her boss's son, gorgeous adrenaline addict and tycoon Logan, she decides it's time to live a little. The result? One spontaneous Vegas-style wedding, which was meant to be followed by a prompt annulment. Until Logan realizes the benefit of staying married for a year, he makes Willow a deal. But their extra time together only confirms that the attraction that started in Vegas is stronger than ever. Yay! Vegas wedding! Next we have a romantic suspense novel. And again, speaking of authors I have been fortunate enough to interview, by Tara Taylor Quinn. So we have Cold Case Sheriff, and this is book number 5 in the Sierra's web series. I have read one of these books, but I think that these can be read out of order as well. But, again, you do what you want to do. I will just read this one out of order if and when I get to it in the month of April. His investigation into the threatening occurrences befalling Amy Barker leads Sheriff Jackson Redmond into a 30-year-old mystery. Amy's nightmares have brought her to Evergreen in search of her past. The incidences seem intended to scare her off, but when an attack leaves Amy without lodgings, Jackson offers her his home. Now their sizzling chemistry makes keeping Amy safe a much more challenging assignment. Tara Taylor Quinn is so good at these books, I have to say. Love them. Oh, next, special edition. And Teri Wilson. Teri Wilson can do no wrong. So, there are certain lines that are guaranteed to be sweet and some that are guaranteed to be spicy. For example, the Heartwarming books are going to be sweet romances with no adult content, whereas the Desire books are all about the adult content. Same as the Presents novels. However, the special edition line and the romance line are a little bit kind of, you don't know unless you are familiar with the author's work. And sometimes that's even touch and go, because I know from reading Sophie Pembroke before that she typically writes sweeter romances, but then I read one by her that was definitely a spicy romance. So, yeah. You don't know. But I can tell you for sure that the great Teri Wilson does write sweet romances. And the cover of this book sold me immediately. My friend Brie read it, the one I used to do the podcast with. She loved it. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. Her Man of Honor by Teri Wilson. This is book number 1 in the Love Unveiled series. Everly England is a bridal advice columnist, a guru, and unfortunately, a jilted bride. Her ruined reputation and wedding only get more disastrous when her bestie Henry Aston's sympathetic kiss ignites a desire she never knew possible. Henry knows that the glamorous city girl is terrified romance will ruin their friendship, but as the stand-in groom plans to win her I do after all. So first in a series, I have seen the cover for the second book. I'm almost 100% certain this takes place in New York City. I mean, look at that. That's an iconic New York City yellow cab, right? So, yeah. Can't wait for that one. Now we're going to get into the love-inspired books. So the last 3 are love-inspired. These are all faith-based Christian fiction novels. One of them I picked specifically, again, because of Amish in April. So, the first one is a love-inspired. This tickles me. This absolutely tickles me because I read a book that took place in this location for my very first Amish in April. So, I am revisiting Pinecraft, Florida in April of 2023 for Amish in April. We have Pinecraft Refuge by Lenora Worth. It's been a long day again, guys. Let me explain what Pinecraft, Florida is. It's the Amish vacation destination, and I'm not making that up. It's a real place in Florida. I have looked it up. So, essentially, Amish people go there on vacation. I don't know why that tickles me, but it does. I'm just picturing them all, in their caps and, little outfits without shoes on a beach playing volleyball. I don't know why that makes me giggle, but it does. And this cover is delightful, by the way. So this is the first book in the Pinecraft Seasons series. When her doctor prescribes fresh air and sunshine, Eva Miller turns her Florida getaway into a chance to gain some independence. Only working part-time for Amish shop owner Tanner Dawson is hardly a vacation. The overprotective single father reminds Eva of her own strict upbringing. But as she begins to see beneath the gruff exterior, can she trust Tanner and her heart enough to stay? Doesn't it look delightful? It looks so cute. I think because in our heads we picture Amish, at least I do, in like Pennsylvania, Ohio, you know, like that kind of a setting. But to put them on a beach in Florida, again, it just tickles me. And I am really, really looking forward to this one. Next up, we have a love-inspired suspense novel, and this is Wyoming Cold Case Secrets by Sommer Smith. When the search for her birth parents is met with a threat to leave town, Bryn Evans turns to private investigator Avery Thrope and leads armed assailants to his door. With no clue why she's a target, Bryn and Avery rush to unfold her family's secret and to stay alive. But when the truth reveals a decades-long conspiracy, can they survive a killer's plan to cover it up? Looks really good. I do really like the love-inspired suspense books. And last but not least, for something a little bit different, because up until this point I've been doing like 11 books because there's 11. But I didn't realize, because these series are not on the main Harlequin page. They are on loveinspired.com, which Love Inspired does have its own website. You can buy the Love Inspired books off of harlequin.com, but they do have their own website as well. So what they're doing is they have like these mini-series, and I think there's 3 different mini-series. One is Cold Case, one is Mountain Rescue, and one is Historical, I think. But every month they have, like every 3 months, so like a Cold Case book will come out every 3 months, and a Mountain book will come out every 3 months, and yada, yada, yada. So this month is the new releases for the Cold Case. So I picked one, and it was pretty easy to pick because Jacquelin Thomas, along with Katie Richards, did send me copies of their books. And I think I opened that in one of my weekly reading vlogs, or one of my weekly reading update videos. And so I do have a physical copy of this one and the one Catching the Carling Lake Killer. So this one is Cold Case Deceit, again by Jacquelin Thomas. Cold Case Unit Supervisor Philippa Stevenson is willing to investigate an unsolved murder for her ex-fiancé without his help. Detective Kyle Rossi broke her heart years ago, but she'll find justice for his sister-in-law. Only the victim isn't who they thought she was, and working with Kyle becomes Philippa's best chance. As they follow a decades-long trail of betrayal and murder, say that 3 times fast, Philippa must put aside her heartache to uncover the truth about the victim's past and her own. Doesn't that sound great? I know there are a lot of people like, cold cases are one of those things that some people really like, some people don't. I do like a good cold case. I think they're really interesting. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. So again, I hope to get to all of these. We shall see. Do any of these sound good to you? Are any of these on your list for the month of April? Side note, all of these books are now currently available for purchase. Again, this is here in North America that I'm talking about. As of Tuesday, you can purchase them in your local big box store if they have them there, or on Amazon, or wherever you purchase books from. So yeah, definitely check them out. And again, let me know which ones you guys are looking forward to, or are there any that you're looking forward to that are coming out in April that I did not mention in my list, because I'd love to know that too. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.